everyone, it's Miss Rossi. Today we're going to create some rainbows and practice our colors in rainbow order. What you'll be needing today is your rainbow paper from your art folder. So this should be one huge white piece of paper. It might have been folded to make it a little easier for you to bring it home. You can get rid of your label because we won't be needing that. You should also have a blue piece of paper and 2 yellow pieces of paper. I'm going to carefully remove my papers from this staple. It is okay if they rip a little bit. We are also going to need a scissor, a glue stick, a pencil, an eraser. I'm going to use some watercolor paints today, but you can use any other material you would like to add color or any other kind of paint. And we also have some crayons. I'm going to grab a cup of water and a paintbrush for my watercolor paints. And that will be it. So today we are going to draw and color in some huge rainbows on our white paper. I'm going to put some of my other materials to the side for right now and just keep my white paper and my pencil and eraser on my table. Now we got to watch a video to learn about all of the colors in rainbow order, and today we are going to create our own rainbow using those colors. Now with my pencil on my big white piece of paper, I am going to draw a nice huge rainbow. My rainbow is going to go across my entire paper, so I'm holding it longest going from left to right. So I have plenty of space to draw my big arching rainbow. Now to start, I'm going to use my pencil and draw one big curving line that reaches up towards the top of my paper and comes back down. We are going to draw our rainbow, so there are 6 sections in it for us to add our colors. So I have my first line going across the top, and that's going to be the top of our rainbow. Then I'm going to draw another line. Now I'm leaving a nice big space in between here so that I can add my colors in there. And I'm just drawing another big curved line coming up and back down to the other side. So now I have one band going across that I can fill in with color later on. I'm going to do that same thing again, drawing another curved line from one side all the way to the other, again leaving a big amount of space in between so I can add my color. And I'm going to keep doing this until I have enough of those bands, enough of these spaces in between my pencil lines for me to add all the colors of the rainbow. So right now I have one section for red, one for orange, one for yellow, one for green, and I need a few more. So then this one is going to be for blue, and then I am only going to add one more for purple. I know in our song they talk about indigo, but I do not have indigo in my color palette today, so I am just going to skip over that one and go from blue to purple. So what you should be left with is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 pencil lines drawn on your paper with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 spaces in between those pencil lines to add our colors. I'm going to grab a black crayon, and with my black crayon, I am just going to trace over the top of all of my pencil lines. Since I am using watercolors today, using crayon to outline will help keep my watercolors inside the sections that I want them in. Our crayons resist our watercolor, meaning they do not let our watercolor pass over it or go through it. So it is going to act as almost like a little fence around my colors to make sure that they stay in their sections and they don't mix together. So I am just going in with my black crayon, nice and dark, right over the top of all of my pencil lines to finish drawing my rainbow. Now that I have all of my rainbow lines traced in my crayon, I am ready to start painting. So I'm going to grab my paint palette. Now, if you don't have paints at home, you can always use crayons, markers, colored pencils, or anything else to color in the rows of your rainbow. You do not have to use paint like me, but I am going to fill in each of my sections of my rainbow with the right color in rainbow order. So again, we're going to start with red in our first section. So I'm going to wet my paintbrush. I'm going to swirl around in my red paint, and I am going to carefully fill in that section. My red paint kind of looks like pink, but that is okay. And I am very carefully filling in between those 2 first black lines that I had. Once I need more paint on my brush, I can wet my paintbrush again and dip it back in that color to get some more paint. And you can see as I am painting, my watercolor is not spreading outside of these lines. Since I use those crayons to trace with, my watercolor is staying in between the lines because our crayon is resisting it. It is not letting it go past the lines that I traced. So I'm carefully filling in this entire section with my watercolors. And if you do make a mistake or you do go outside of the lines, that is okay. Once it dries, you can just paint right over it. There we go. Now that I have my red section filled in, my next section is going to be orange. So I'm going to swirl around my orange paint. So I made sure to wash my paintbrush and I swirled around in my orange paint. And now I can fill in that section. Again, going nice and slowly, painting back and forth, making sure I'm filling in all of that white space while I am filling in this next section. And just like before, you can see my orange paint is not spreading into my red paint. Because we used those crayons, they are making sure our watercolor is resisting. They are making sure our watercolor is staying in the section where we want it. Now, if you're using something else to color in your picture, you just want to make sure you're trying your best to color inside the lines, filling in all of that white space as best as you can. Now I'm going to go on to yellow, so I'm making sure I wash my paintbrush really well. And then I can dip into my yellow paint, swirling carefully. I don't want to jam my paintbrush in there too hard because I don't want to hurt my paints and I don't want to hurt my paintbrush. And now I can spread my yellow paint in that next band. And next we have green. So again, I'm washing my paintbrush, going into my green paint and carefully filling in that next stripe. Now that my green stripe is finished, I washed my paintbrush and I'm going into my blue so I can fill in the next section with my blue paint. And like I said before, I don't have indigo. Normally your rainbow order would include indigo in between your blue and your violet to spell out our Roy G. Biv, but I do not have indigo paint today. If you do have indigo, you can always add an extra row and tack that in between your blue and your purple. Now that my blue section is finished, I can wash my paintbrush again, go into my purple and fill in that last row of my rainbow. All right, there we go. Now my rainbow is finished. As my colors inside my rainbow stripes are drying, I can think about what color I want to use in the background. I think I'm going to use this bluish green color that I have since I didn't get to use that in my rainbow, and it will be almost like an interesting grass or maybe even like sky color. So I'm just going to fill in the rest of my picture with that color. You can pick whatever color you would like. If you want yours to have a sky in the background, you can pick a blue color. It is up to you. If you want to pick a totally different color like pink or brown or something else, you can always do that. We just want to make sure we fill in all of that white space so our picture is fully colored in. All right, there we go. Now my paper is all done. All of my white space is filled in. I'm going to put this to the side so it can dry, and I'm going to clean up my watercolors because I don't need those anymore. The only thing we're going to need are our crayons, pencil, glue stick, scissors, and those other pieces of construction paper that we had left. Now, while we wait for our rainbows to dry, we are going to make a sun and a cloud to go with our rainbow. So for a rainbow to appear in real life, we need a little bit of rain and then we need a lot of sun. And the way that the sun interacts with the rain is how you are able to see all of the different colors to see a rainbow. So with our construction paper here, we are going to draw a cloud and a sun to go along with our rainbow to help create it on our paper. So with my blue paper and my pencil, I'm going to draw a nice big fluffy cloud by doing a big bumpy line that goes all the way around. You can decide what kind of shape you want your cloud to be. It does not have to look like mine. We just want it nice and big, taking up almost our entire paper. I'm going to grab a blue crayon and I am just going to trace over my cloud so it is easier for me to see. I'm also going to give my cloud a face. You can decide what kind of emotion you want your cloud to have. I'm going to make a sad cloud because it is raining, so I think my cloud is going to be crying. So I'm doing two oval eyes. I'm drawing another little half circle inside there to show the pupil. or the black part of the eye. And I'm going to draw a little teardrop coming down from each eye to show that our cloud is crying. And give it a big frowny face and some little circle rosy cheeks that I can color in. So with my crayons, I'm going to trace over my eyes. I think I'm going to trace my eyes in black and color in the pupil. I'm going to trace my cheeks in a pink color and color those in so my cloud has some rosy cheeks. I'm going to trace my tears in blue and color those in. And then I'll trace my frown with my black crayon too. If you want, you can color on top of your construction paper. If you want to change the color of your cloud, maybe you want it to be gray or something else, you don't have to keep it the same light blue as our construction paper. I'm just going to erase any of those little pencil lines I can still see, and then I am going to cut my cloud out of my construction paper. I'm going to be extra careful as I'm cutting out my cloud, cutting along that blue line that I traced it. I am turning my paper with my helping hand, my hand that is not holding the scissor, and I am keeping my scissor hand in the same spot, just opening and closing it slowly as I follow along with my curves of my cloud's shape. There we go. I can put my scissor down, throw out my scraps, and now I have my crying rain cloud to go on one side of my rainbow. Now I need a sun that is nice and bright and smiling for the other half. So on one of my yellow pieces of paper, I'm going to draw a huge circle. And I'm making my circle as big as I can on my paper without going off the edge. So we want a nice big sunshine. I'm going to give my sun a happy face. So I'm doing two big oval eyes. I'm going to draw that curved line inside the eyes as the pupil again, that black part of our eye. Maybe you want to give your sun some sunglasses. You could draw sunglasses instead of eyes if you would like. I'm going to give my sun a nice big smile, and I'll also give my sun some red or some pink rosy cheeks. I'm going to grab my crayons and I am going to trace over my sun's eyes and color those in. I am going to trace over those cheeks with my pink crayon, and I'm going to trace over the circle part of my sun with orange because I don't think my yellow crayon is going to show up very well. So I can just go right over the top of my pencil lines with a nice dark orange color so I can see it a little bit easier. I'm going to grab my scissor and cut out my sun. Again, cutting along that orange line, turning my paper with my helping hand as my scissor stays in the same spot. There we go. Right now, my sun kind of looks just like an emoji. It needs some beautiful rays coming out and branching off around the edges. So we are going to cut out some rectangle shapes from our second piece of yellow paper that we can glue on as some rays for our sun. So with my pencil, I'm just going to draw some straight lines, leaving a nice big space in between them, all along my yellow square paper that I have left. Then we're going to take our scissor to cut these out to make some big yellow rectangles. So with my scissor, I'm just going to cut along those pencil lines to make some nice big rays for my sun. There we go. Now you can decide if you want really long rays sticking off of your sun, where they are reaching out super far by just using what we just cut out, or if you want to have more lines sticking off your sun that are shorter, you can cut your rectangles in half with your scissor so you can have more pieces coming out from your sun. Maybe you want to do both, where you cut some of your rectangles in half so you can have short pieces and long pieces. It is up to you. You can play around with it to see how it looks and see what you're going to like better. I think I'm going to do a mix of short and long pieces, and I'm going to create a pattern where I do long, short, all the way around. Now I'm going to glue these on the back of my sun so I don't end up covering over its face. So I'm going to flip my sun over and grab all of my pieces. I'm going to take my glue stick and I'm just going to do a little ring of glue around the edge of my sun. I'm just going to start on the top for now and stick on those rectangles that I just cut out. So as I am sticking these on, I am creating my pattern of long, short, long, short. I'm going to add some more glue around the bottom and carefully press on all of my sun's rays. Once you're done with your sun and your cloud, you can put your crayons and your pencil and your scissor away and throw out all of your scraps. And then we're going to grab our rainbow paper again. My rainbow paper is all dry, so I'm going to grab my sun and my cloud, and I am going to glue these on the ends of my rainbow. You can decide which side you would like each piece to go on. Maybe you want to do your cloud on the left and your sun on the right. It's totally up to you. It does not matter which side you glue them onto. We just want one on each side. So with my glue stick, I'm just going to put a little bit of glue at the end of each side of my rainbow and then stick on my sun and my cloud. Give it a nice massage so we know it's going to stick. It's okay if it hangs off of the edge of your paper a little bit. Your sun is definitely going to, and my cloud is even hanging off the edge a little bit too, and that is all right. Once you have your pieces glued on, then you are all finished. So you should have a nice bright rainbow showing all of our colors in rainbow order that is being created by our rainy cloud and our bright sun on the edges. Once you're done with your project, you can take a photo or video of it and upload it on my Canvas page. I can't wait to see the colorful rainbows you guys have created. Try your best, have fun, and get creative, and I'll see you soon. Bye!